Well, from fires to floods, and Queenslanders are this morning assessing the damage left in the wake of ex-tropical cyclone Koji. The first cyclone of the season brought damaging winds and torrential rain to North Queensland, an area recently hit by catastrophic floods. Thousands of people remain without power this morning, and authorities warn heavy rain could continue for days. And for more, Mackay Mayor Greg Williamson joins us live. Good morning to you, Greg. No doubt another tough night after what no doubt a very tough night for you, Greg, after what has been a couple of very tough days. What have you woken up to this morning?
Well, we've certainly got a bit wet over the last couple of days, mate. The cyclone crossed obviously north of us, which means that in the south of those cyclonic conditions, you get a lot of rain. We've had about probably over 500 mils in the 2-day total. We certainly got that's 20 inches in the old scale, and so overnight we had about 250 mils, over 10 inches in the old scale. So it's been a lot of water. It's certainly produced some flooding in the Pioneer River system and the upper reaches of the Pioneer River system. But I've got to say that our community has reacted really well. There's about 130,000 people live in our footprint, and they adhered to all of the requests that we put out yesterday for community safety. Stay off the roads. If it's flooded, forget it. Don't drive into flooded creeks and streams. And in terms of community safety, we've come out of it exceptionally well. At public and private property, there's been a little bit of damage. We've got a couple of communities in the the western end of our valley. That's Pinnacle and Gargett, without potable water at the moment. For some reason or other, the rain and the heavy conditions have washed away some of the water supply system. So we're trucking water into there at the moment. But in general safety terms, been pretty good. A lot of water around. There's still more to come. It's set in, as you can see behind us today. So we've got another day of heavy rain, but at least all the flooding in the riverine systems has eased at the moment.
Well, Greg, that is very refreshing to hear that people have been heeding all of those warnings. But as you point out, more rain is now on the way. How prepared are you for more days of this?
Well, this community is very well prepared. I've got to say, our SES, our Queensland Police Services, and all of the volunteer organisations that step up to the plate when the local disaster management group is formed. Everybody's done a fantastic job. We had 24-hour manning of our systems over the last couple of days, and look, the community just responds really well. I'm not saying we're experienced at this, but we've had enough experience to make sure that we can react as a community, and we've done it exceptionally well, in my view.
Well, that is something, Greg, and thanks for your time this morning, and we'll stay in touch over the coming days with that rain still forecast. Let's now bring in, though, the Queensland Premier, David Crisafulli, live in Boeing. Good morning to you, Premier. We just heard there from the community in Mackay, Greg Williamson. It has been a very tough couple of days there, but pretty proud with how the community has been responding.
Yeah, overwhelmingly, and it just shows you what happens when people work together and overwhelmingly prepare. And we did a lot of work ahead of the disaster season to make sure that we did a proper analysis of where to put resources and how to bring in personnel, and it's worked really well. And as you know, it was a small Category 2. It had reduced to a low by the time it hit the landfall. But there is always a risk that remains with that, and predominantly that risk is rainfall, and that severe weather warning continues from Mackay through to Gladstone and then west all the way out to Barcaldine, because there's the real risk that a system like that can produce rain. But overwhelmingly, people handle these things very well in Queensland. We give them the information and they respond, and that's why I'm so proud to lead the state.
What assistance have you been asked for at this stage? We're just looking at some of those images. I mean, so many thousands of hectares of that prime agricultural and pastoral land has been inundated by these floodwaters.
Well, we've obviously got two issues we're dealing with. Firstly, we've got the western part of the state, which is in a really bad way. You're dealing with tens of thousands of cattle that's perished, and that's ongoing. We're still delivering fodder, we're still delivering medical support to try and keep animals alive. They're dealing with bacteria, pneumonia, and that underpins that economy. So that recovery continues, and they're still in our thoughts. On the coast, and we'll continue to respond as the water falls. But there will be impacts for sure, and Greg was touching that before. Your Mayor of Mackay was talking about some of that infrastructure damage and some of the individuals, and we'll obviously be there to assist. But to give you an indication of how well this has been handled and how pre-positioning those resources and the kind of men and women who work at this time of year when many get a chance to have a break, we got to about 23,000 homes and businesses that had lost lost power yesterday afternoon. I just checked this morning, that's down to about 2,500. Now, that is Ergon crews, that's our energy provider. They're working through the night. And many of them have come from other parts of Queensland, away from their families to come and be here. And it's been a really big effort. But across the board, police, firefighters, ambulance, SES, they've come on the ground. They're helping the local people who do this very well. They are well prepared. But overwhelmingly, it's been a great response. We'll continue to monitor. There is the real risk of that heavy rainfall. So, we're urging people to just stay up to date, have a look, know that if you're in a low-lying area, because that risk between Mackay and Gladstone and West Tabarki remains. But overwhelmingly, people have handled it very well. They always do.
Yeah, certainly not out of the woods just yet, as you point out. More wet weather on the way, but it does sound like people are responding well. Premier, thanks for your time this morning.